everybody, and welcome to Bits of Board, where we're talking board games, miniatures, cards, and dice. My name's Michael, and today we continue on our journey through Kingdom Death Monsters campaign. Last week was a great week, kinda. We absolutely smashed through a level 2 white lion. We took off as many wounds as we possibly could, every activation. It was fantastic. We got all of the cool bits and pieces from winning, and then we lost one of our finest survivors to the murder event, and our hearts broke. I'm still recovering. It's still sad. Now, despite all of the sadness, we do have to power on through, onward and upward. So we move into our very next hunt. We're going to keep up the level 2 hunt events for the time being. And I was tossing up between the white lion and going the antelope. Now, the white lion would be such a cool call. I would love to still grab those, the lion, the guitars, I can't remember what they're called. But I'm probably not willing to trust in that sort of level of luck again. So we're going to go the Screaming Antelope and chase after some resources so we can build our leather kit or something like that. Let's find out exactly how this ends up. Let's go. All right, we're going to do this on Depart, otherwise I confuse the crap out of myself. So we have our brand new survivor here, Vela. She is the daughter of Bastion. And number 6, who was number 6? We haven't named number 6 yet. But the reason I've chosen her is because she has +1 understanding from being born, so that's just one step closer to some insight there. And of course, due to survival of the fittest, she has +1 accuracy and +1 strength. She is, well, I don't know if anyone could really fill the shoes of Ripper, but she's going to be our new bow woman for the time being. She's rocking very little armor, but some very meaty weapons there, and of course some of our supporting items, the whisker harp and the cat eye circlet there. Next up, we've got Freya, and she's coming out. This is probably the least armor she's worn. She's gifted it up to the other guys. So she's rocking the Screaming Horns, so she's going to be very well protected along the head. She's also rocking the bandages because I feel like she's going to be pretty involved in the fight, and then maybe bleeding, who knows. She, of course, is rocking the scrap sword and really aiming to do some damage with that. No deadly this time around. That's actually really hard to put together once we've got the full sets of armor and going for that sort of thing. But yeah, she is good to go. Next up, we have Dryleaf, and he's fully kitted out in the rawhide gear. He gains that +1 evasion from having both connected affinities in the rawhide vest, and he also has the ability to have a look at the top 2 AI cards, of course, because of that rawhide armor. He's going to be playing with the King's Spear, so keeping a little bit out of reach, but that doesn't really count for much when you're fighting the Screaming Antelope. Now, because of his full set of armor, he gains +1 armor for each location. And of course, we prepared at the shrine, so he and everybody else gains that +1 armor to each location as well. Now, he's also got the Berserker ability, which means once per showdown, he can spend his activation to suffer Bash and the Frenzy Brain Trauma. Lastly, we are bringing Bastion, the all-powerful new leader of the settlement, having killed Ripper. Last round, I shake my fist. Anyway, he is rocking the most powerful armor because, well, he is the numero uno, head honcho, the big cheese. Anyway, he is going to have a ton of armor and a lot of survivability. And to make sure he makes the best of his survivability, he, of course, is stuck with that Twilight sword there. And we're going to, hope to get a little bit better at that. Now, really, we're cashing in on the bonus accuracy here. Yeah, he's already got 1 natural bonus accuracy, but if he can pounce, he'll also gain an additional 1, making it just that little bit easier to hit with that Twilight Sword, because that thing is still a pain. A refresher here, the Twilight Sword hits on a 9 minus the individual's proficiency with the Twilight Sword. Now, at the moment, Bastion has 1 level of proficiency and 1 accuracy, so that means he's going to be hitting on 7s, but if he can pounce, that's going to be 6s, and if he can get behind the target, that's going to be 5s, and that is a lot nicer than 9s. Topping it all off, he's got very nice movability with the white lion boots connected affinities there. He's going to be just rolling around getting into position with that Twilight Sword. Or, you know, so we hope. Now the White Lion armor, I don't know if we've gone over this one properly, but it adds, once it's got a complete set, we add +1 to all hit locations. So he's going to be rocking 4 armor at each location, including the ones we get from Shrine. And the other bonus is your weapons are your claws. Gain +1 speed and 2 strength when attacking with daggers or katars. Now I don't have any katars at the moment, but I have brought along a dagger just to add to that connected affinity there. We may or may not get a chance to use it depending on how we go with that Twilight Sword. Now, just having a look at what we've got going here, I'm thinking we might replace maybe the stone noses or the founding stone. Let's replace the founding stone with the frenzy drink. Now, this is a consumable and we can use it once per showdown. This is what we got from those lion testes last hunt. We can use this to suffer the frenzy brain trauma, which I did explain, but I will refresh everyone's memories here because, you know, I need it as well. You gain 1d5 insanity, +1 speed token, and +1 strength token. Now, usually that speed token would not be useful for the Twilight Sword because it has, you know, that the slow keyword on there, right? Which means it can only ever be 1 speed. But Frenzy also allows us to ignore slow on melee weapons. This is insane because we would then gain any bonus speed that we had. Now we don't have any, but that would be pretty cool. Its drawback is that we may not use fighting arts or weapon specializations or masteries. Now this is kind of annoying because Bastion has a huge amount of fighting arts there. And of course a number of disorder that we all gave him last hunt. Now he's got the Combo Master. On a perfect hit, he gains 1 additional attack roll. Whoa. Tumble, which helps when he collides with stuff. And he's got Berserker as well, which is once per showdown, you may spend your activation to suffer Bash and the Frenzy Brain Trauma. Ooh. Means we may not need that Frenzy drink, although we don't have to suffer Bash with that. Now let's keep things as they are. That's pretty cool. All right, let's head on in and get hunting. All right, here we have our team ready to hunt that screaming antelope. How far have they got to go, guys? Well, it's a long journey. Just like any level 2 encounter, we are going to have to cross that overwhelming darkness, which we've not actually had the pleasure of doing yet. So let's hope we can get that far. We'll start right here, though, with our survivors, moving into the very first antelope hunt event. Devoured Grounds. The stone-faced ground is littered with the leavings of ravenous passing beasts. Half-eaten arcanthus plants are strewn everywhere. If any survivor has +3 understanding, the survivors may skip the next hunt phase. Let me just double check. Wow, all right. Freya has 3 understanding. So do you think we should skip the next hunt space? I think we should. Random hunts, while they can be great, well, they can be the end view as well. So we're going to skip that, and I'm going to shuffle over. All right, that's us essentially giving free survivability there. Let's move in and go the next hunt card. Migration. Some unseen force has set off a massive migration. Nothing remains but uprooted arcanthus plants and shattered ground ruined by hooves. Move the screaming antelope 3 spaces away from the survivors. What? We have to move this guy even further away. Oh man. Lucky we got to skip at least 1 spot. Oh man. Off he goes. Onward we go for our first random event. We grab our dice and hope we don't roll 67 because we have a habit of this. 78, that's different. Or is it? All right. Dead Great Game Hunter. The survivors find a corpse dressed in brightly coloured clothing, clutching something to its chest. The event revealer may investigate. If they do, they gain +1 courage and roll 1d10. If any survivor has a whip, they lash the corpse from afar, adding +4 to the roll. Once again, we have no whip. Now, in the event of us playing a solo game here, I'm not quite sure who the event revealer is going to be. We could do it random, Or we could just give it to Dryleaf because he doesn't have much courage. Let's roll and see what we get. A 7. All right, we go up here and we focus. There we go. His hands are empty. If the settlement has cannibalize, gain one random basic resource. We don't, unfortunately. We went for graves, so gain +1 understanding. All right. Well, Dryleaf's pretty happy with that, gaining his very first point of understanding. All right. Mask Salesman. We've met this man before. I like him. I like him a lot. The survivors meet a traveling mask salesman on the road. He insists that he has special wares to offer. Shuffle 1 copy of each mask gear from the mask maker settlement location and draw 1 at random. The salesman is offering the mask. The event revealer rolls 1d10 to determine the price, then gains the mask. Well, let's roll and hope for big number. And a 6. It's not horrible. Let's find out what. This is the result that we got last time here. The salesman slowly gestures for an offering. Archive 1 gear of your choice from your gear grid. Well, firstly, let's find out just what mask we have on offer. Now, I get really excited for these little mask pieces, but and don't get me wrong, I'm sure they're very, very excellent. It's just I've had no opportunity to use our antelope mask from last time. Let's find out just what this card is. Boom, White Lion Mask. This only works with green affinities. Dang, they're really hard to get. But if we can manage to get this one going, if insane, spend an activation to lose all your survival and gain that many strength tokens. Whoa, that is wicked powerful. If only we could get those green affinities. Maybe later, maybe later. Well, I think we should buy that. I think that's a really good option for much, much later down the track. But what do we hand over? I'm thinking the Stone Noses. I'm going to hand over some Stone Nose because as cool as these are, we can buy them again for an endeavor, and they are a dime a dozen at this point. So I think that's good. Who should we take it from? Because they have an on-arrival effect. All right, well, we'll hand over Dryleaf's Stone Noses, and they're gone. He won't get his on-arrival benefits for this one, but we do gain the White Lion Mask, which I don't think we're going to get the bonus points for, are we? Yeah, there was a bit of discussion on this one last time we picked up a mask. I'm still going to we're not going to gain the bonus mask this time. I'll listen to our comments, but just know I want to. All right, it's the time we've all been waiting for. Overwhelming darkness, and that antelope is so far away. Oh, let's shuffle on in and hit the event. Survivors must determine their paths and walk them simultaneously. That's going to be a bit tricky for us, but we will try. So insane survivors walk the path of the insane. Currently, only Bastion is insane, so we'll give him a black dice there. Our other major option here is survivors with 3+ courage walk the path of the brave. We have 2 survivors with 3+, Bastion and Freya. So we'll give Bastion the black and Freya the white dice there. Lastly, if no other path applies, they walk the path of the doomed. I'm not going to be able to roll everything the same because I just don't have that many coloured dice. I wish I'd invested in all of those Kingdom Death, like the Valentine's Day dice, the spring dice, all that stuff. Alas, we roll. So, Actually, we do have a couple of other dice. So let's roll with that. We have the white, the bone, the black, and the red. So white, bone, black, red. We roll. I don't know why I was making such a big deal of that, right? Okay. So, Vela with the 9 and a 9. Oh. Oh. This could be tough, guys. All right. Let's start with Vela. Her 9 gives her Resolute. Gain 1 Insanity and 1 Courage. A great start there. Freya rolls the 9 on the Path of the Brave. With your lantern held high, you cut a path through the teeming darkness. Suffer 1 event damage to your arms. She's now sitting on 0 armor for that location. That might be tricky. And lastly, we have Bastion, who rolled a 2 on the Path of the Insane. You feel safe and welcome within the darkness. Spend all your survival, at least 1, to shake yourself from these delusions or wander into the darkness, lost forever, dead. Alright, I guess we're spending all 4 of our survival to keep Bastion, the murderous Bastion, alive. And that is it for the Overwhelming Darkness event. Thankfully, that being the end of the event, all of our survivors would gain 1 survival for witnessing Dryleaf's bravery. However, I think this is actually only going to benefit Bastion. Oh well, at least it's 1 survival and we may not die immediately. Hooray! Alright, ever onward and upward we move to our next hunt event. Grazing Field. Acanthus leaves sprout from the crevices in the stone ground. The survivors spend time gathering and eating the small leaves. Each survivor may heal 1 hit location of their choice, restoring all injury levels and armor points. If any survivor has a sickle, they gain 1 fresh Acanthus strange resource, and then we've got a roll on the hunt event table. Well, not bad. So we roll for our random hunt event. Oh no. Alright, quick patch in there, okay. A little bit of glue always helps to keep that around when you're playing in case of a stray dice roll. Anyway, we get a 92. Failed start. Now we've had this one before. The survivors find the tattered remains of 4 humans clad in loincloth and clutching stone shards. They bear the distinct marks of the white lion's claws. Each survivor suffers 1 brain event damage and gains 1 founding stone starting gear. Survivors with 3+ understanding also gain 1d10 insanity. Whoa! And then Freya, the only survivor to have 3 understanding, will gain 1d10 insanity. It's only 4. Alright. That's pretty good. Onward we go, and we are getting very close to that screaming antelope. Now this is where he used to be, so I imagine we're going to be rolling another random event here. So let's roll through that. Here we go. 53. Really? Should we roll that? No, okay. Mask Salesman. What the hell? Alright, we know what's going on here. Let's find out which mask is on offer. We shuffle, we shuffle, we shuffle. And we are going to have on offer the Phoenix Mask, which if we can get 4 red affinities, if insane, you may dodge 1 additional time per round. I guess we should pick an event revealer, so let's go for Vela, and we'll roll to see what this mask is going to cost us. And it's an 8. As he imparts the mask to you, we get this for free. The salesman's lips form the sound of your name. It is gone. Give your survivor a new name. It must be different, and +1 survival for naming your survivor. Man, I can't believe how long it took me to come up with Vela. No. Let's keep the same theme and call her Ori. All right. Sweet. We'll give her the mask. She gains no armor. And we move to the next hunt event. We get Dead Antelope. Oh God. The survivors are struck by the scent of rotting meat wafting from a hulking corpse ahead. The event revealer may lead the survivors to investigate. If they do, gain 1 random vermin resource, 2 random screaming antelope resources, and roll 1d10. On a result of 7+, the survivors are startled by the arrival of the Antelope's killer, a white lion. Oh, okay. Whoa. Without going into what that is next, I reckon we take a gamble here. Oh, do we dare? All right, let's grab the vermin and let's grab the screaming antelope resources and hold our breath in anticipation. All right, let's draw the vermin. Oh, that just fell out and we'll take it. The sword beetle. We may consume this. The beetle burrows into your brain. You die instantly on a 1 to 3. On a 4 to 5, it's tough and disgusting, but no effect. On a 6+, gain 1 permanent strength. Fantastic. That's why we go the vermin. All right, we'll grab our 2 screaming antelope resources. The first of which is a pelt. The second of which is also a pelt. And then we roll the death dice here. We've got to roll red, right? On a 7+, we're pretty much just going to throw in the towel and we'll have all of our survivors die. How about that? Let's see how we go. All right, and we'll continue on. That's fine. Fantastic. We move that out of the way. And let's move to our random event. Here we go. We get number 80. All right. We come to Lovelorn Rock. The survivors pass a ring of stones with an unassuming boulder at the center. Each survivor rolls 1d10. The lowest scoring survivor becomes a straggler. The straggler hefts the boulder. It's heavy and promises to carry it everywhere, forever in love. They must always leave one space in their gear grid empty as it contains their beloved rock. Record this on your survivor's sheet. The rock can be lost or archived like other gear. If it is lost, the survivor mourns their beloved and reclaims the space in their gear grid. Oh, if only we had this before the Masked Salesman, that would have been boss. All right, let's see who's the straggler. All right, same order, I think, roughly. White, bone, black, and red. All right. Red, that would be a 4. All right, oh, swap that. Bastion, what are you doing, mate? He will be our straggler, it looks like. Nah, no, he won't. He has the prepared ability granted to him in the Bold Story event. This adds his Hunt XP to the roll when determining a straggler, which means it's not going to be him, it's going to be Freya, who unfortunately didn't get the prepared ability and got Matchmaker. So luckily for her, she's got plenty of space in the gear grid, but from now on, she carries a beloved rock. Just gonna note that. All right, it's time, guys. Survivors, meet the level 2 antelope. Let's do this. All right, welcome to the level 2 screaming antelope. Nothing too, well, there's a couple of additions. Of course, he has a much higher toughness than our level 1 counterpart, sitting at 10, and he's now got 15 cards in his AI deck, which means 16 wounds to kill. On top of that, he has 1 bonus strength and 1 bonus damage token there, which means he's going to be pretty deadly. And, you know, to top it all off, he's got a bonus trait as well. Now, Trample, we've had this before. When the monster collides with a survivor, they suffer damage equal to the monster's level to a random hit location. That's no worries. Diabolical is going to make sure that that happens. At the end of the monster's turn, target a random survivor in the trample zone. Full move through the target and past the survivor. If there is no target, full move forward. This antelope is going to be heavily on the move, and we are really going to need to stay out of his way. All right, let's get stuck in. All right, here we have our survivors going face to face with the screaming antelope level 2. This is going to be a tough one, so let's hope for the best. The encounter begins. The antelope draws his first AI card. And it is Stomp and Snort. We pick a random survivor in range. Now, unfortunately, It looks like everyone's out of range. Let me just see what his movement is. 8 points of movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's going to be out of range. So our screaming antelope grazes instead. He's going to move to the closest Arcanthus plant and he's going to consume it, gaining 1 point of life back or 1 AI card from the wound stack. Thankfully, we've not actually done any damage to this guy yet, so pretty much nothing happens there. Now at the end of the Screaming Antelope's activation, we check out his Diabolical card, and we need to full move the antelope in the direction of any survivors that are in his trample zone. And Bastion, well, he is just standing there. So we full move towards him 8 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's all that happens. He doesn't actually attack. It's just any survivor that he moves through gets trampled. That has put the antelope in a prime location for our first wave of attacks. So where do our survivors begin? I think we're going to start off with Ori. We're going to move her over here so she can pick up the remnants of whatever dead survivor that might be. And we're actually going to move her to the other side of it over here. That's better. Now you can see that's where she is. Now she's carefully placed herself outside of any trample zones for the next activation. And she's going to spend her activation here to scavenge the corpse. And she scores a 4 and gets to draw 1 random basic resource. And of course she gains 2 insanity as well. She gets a monster hide, which will be very nice for our continued armor building. We archive the token. But before we go anywhere, we're going to spend 1 of her survival to activate and attack. Yes, she is actually quite far away, but she's holding the catgut bow. And I'm pretty sure she was taught by Ripper, so let's see how we go here. This is going to be hitting on a 5+. 1 dice, all the luck in the world. A 7, and we hit. Now just for hitting, our antelope gains a -1 evasion token, which is going to make life a lot easier for our other survivors. Let's draw a hit location card. We have the Restless Inner Thigh, and this does have a wound on it. With a total of 7 strength behind this attack, this is going to hit on a 3+. And it's a 6, and we absolutely jag it. Let's find out what this wound is. Your attack disables the monster's powerful running muscles. The Screaming Antelope gains a -1 movement token. Not bad, although I don't think movement is going to be our problem here. So we pop 1 of these down. We remove a card from the AI deck and we continue on. Now our survivors are going to try and deal as much damage as they can every round here because, man, we need it. All right, we're going to start off with Bastion. Now I'm toying with the idea of giving him the frenzy drink, but I'm not going to just yet. That might be best used later. But we are going to move him around the Screaming Antelope to attack. Now he has 6 movement available to him thanks to the White Lion boots. So we're going to move him right around 4, 5, 6 and attack in that far blind spot there. This will be hitting on a 5+, thanks to a combination of his accuracy, proficiency, and that -1 evasion. And it is a critical wound. Fantastic. Or a critical hit, anyway. Now, I think we've got something for this. Bastion has Combo Master, which means on a perfect hit, we gain 1 additional attack roll. Wicked. All right, let's keep that one there and roll for the second attack. A 5, and that is going to hit. 2 hits there. Now I think we need to resolve these separately as these are 2 separate attack rolls. So this first one, this first hit location here, has a reflex. Ouch. So this has a zone of death in there, which means Bastion's going to get hit with a basic action after this attack. Let's move that one out of the way. Now the Twilight Sword, it's got 9 strength, not to mention Bastion's own natural strength. This is going to wound on anything except for a 1 and a 4, and we make it. We remove the AI card. Unfortunately, we have to endure this reflex. The screaming antelope frantically attacks everything around it. The zone of death is every adjacent space. One at a time, target each survivor in the zone of death and perform basic action. Now his basic action is a 2-speed accuracy of 2+. Now Bastion's got 1 evasion, which will help out, so he's going to be hitting on 3+. Oh boy, 3 hits. Where's he getting this damage? Head, feet, and to the body. Each point of those will be doing 2 damage to Bastion. Thankfully, he has the most armor out of everyone, so he'll take this. But he won't be able to do that too many more times, I'll tell you. All right, with that reflex out of the way, we continue with that second attack, and we draw his next hit location, the pallet. This has a failure on it, but I think we're going to be pretty good with our huge amounts of strength. Once again, anything except for a 1 will make the wound. And a 4. Nailed it. Kinda. So no failure, and another wound in the wound stack. All right, that'll do for Bastion's activation. Let's move on now to Freya, and she's gonna move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right there in that blind spot as well. Now the blind spot is definitely a dangerous place to be, but we really need to get rid of some of these wounds. Actually, just having a look at Freya's natural accuracy, I don't think we're going to need to go there. So let's just move to the side here and attack from there. Freya has 3 accuracy, and this sword hits on a 5+. That in combination with the -1 evasion, all of these swings are going to hit on anything except for a 1. 2 dice, anything but a 1, a 9 and an 8. 2 hits. We gain the giant teeth, which is a super dense location, and the restless shoulder. Now the restless shoulder has a wound reflex on it, and the giant teeth in their super dense thing, if we're hitting with a frail weapon, which we're not, we would be archiving the weapon at the end of the attack. Well, let's begin with the giant teeth. Let's roll. It'll be wounding on a 4+. And we get a 9, which is a solid hit. We discard the location and another AI card. All right, let's go for this restless shoulder. And it is a critical wound. Look at that. What happens here? So we ignore the wound text there, which means he's not going to be jumping out of the way. But because of our critical wound, we gain 1 screaming antelope resource. Not only that, we discard an AI card. We're doing pretty well, guys. All right, we shuffle and we draw. We get another pelt. We are definitely going for armor once we get home from this. All right, last but not least, we're going to be attacking with Dry Leaf here. We're going to move him up to the corner of the screaming antelope, and he will be attacking with the King's Spear. 2 dice, 5+. Oh, just 1 hit there. Where are we hitting? The restless muzzle. If we hit with a club or shield, you clobber the monster and gain 2 luck. Ah, that's a shame. All right, let's go for the wound. 5+. 3, no good. All right, so we lose that one there. And we move into the Antelopes Activation. We draw his card and we pull Slam. Pick target closest knockdown survivor. No one's knocked down, thank goodness. Furthest threat in field of view and in range. That I was not expecting. All right, so we're going to be attacking Ori here. She is in range, I think. -1 movement. 7 spaces, I'm pretty sure. Let's find out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lovely. And unfortunately, Bastion does get knocked down on the way through thanks to that trample thing. Oh, actually, he has Dun, da, 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 da. Another fighting art, which we happen to give him. This one is Tumble. When something would collide with you, roll a d10. On a 6+, you successfully tumble out of the way. Let's see how we go. And it's a 9. How good is that? We do a sweet move out of the way. Is that where we go? Nah, we shuffle over like that. That's it. Well, that's the good news, but now the antelope does get his slam attack. This is a speed 1, accuracy 2+ attack. Now, Ori does have 1 evasion, so it's going to go to a 3. But he does hit on the 8. Let's find out where this damage is going. Ooh. So it would usually be 1 point of damage, but it goes up to 2 because this is a level 2 antelope. Ori scores her first light wound. All right, next. Diabolical trait means the screaming antelope is going to trample somebody. We've got 2 people in line of sight. Bastion's green, Ori is blue. Let's see who gets it. Whoa, tricky, and Bastion is going to get it. Let's turn this guy around, full move straight ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right there. Let's see if Bastion can tumble away. Again, 6+. And it's a 6. Wicked. So let's move him out of the path, and he is just fine. With all that done, we move back into the Survivor's Activation. All right, so Ori's a little bit out of range here. The bow only has 6 range, which will hit somewhere around here. That and the antelope is actually standing on the obstacle here, so that's only going to further complicate things. So let's ignore her for the time being, well, ignore her attack at least. We're going to use the cat eye circlet to have a look at the next few hit locations. All right. And we pull these 3, the restless chest, restless flank, and the delicate inverted knee. Now one of these, we've got reflex wound and nothing there, so we'll probably keep him on top. But I'm thinking let's get a little bit tricky here. Let's look out for our survival just a little bit. I don't know how this is going to go. So let's put the restless chest on top. Pop those hit locations back down. And Ori is going to use one of her survival to take the Hail Mary action. She's going to grab her founding stone and hurl it at the monster. So we lose one of her survival. She's down to 2. And this founding stone, we spend the activation to sling the stone from anywhere on the board. Archive this card for 1 automatic hit that inflicts a critical wound. Thanks to some careful planning here, we score the Restless Chest, gain 1 Screaming Antelope resource, that's a bonus, but we're mainly here for that -1 damage token. Hit location down, AI card down, and we're going to discard this pain in the butt damage token. Not only that, we gain another Screaming Antelope resource, and it's the large flat tooth. Beautiful work. Now I just realized that the Twilight Sword is of course cumbersome for Bastion there, so he would have had to have used one of his survival to attack back before. That is going to make it pretty tough for Bastion to lay some damage down, but I have a plan for this round. We're going to spend his movement activation to just shuffle on over here. We are then going to spend his survival to dash, gaining his movement action back. Now that he's got both of his, attack activation and movement activation, we're going to activate for the very first time his White Lion Coat Pounce. Spend both activations to move 3 spaces in a straight line. Then if you move 3 spaces, activate a melee weapon with +1 strength. Now we are not here for the strength. We are here for the accuracy. When you pounce, gain +1 accuracy for your next attack this turn. That means this attack will be hitting on a 5+. We got to mitigate this 1 dice roll. Let's see how we go. And it's a 6. We have it there anyway. Let's pull that hit location card. Anything but a 1 on the screen. And a 5, we make it. Another AI card down. Let's continue on. I now realize this may not have been the best position to put Bastion there. because I think this toppled pillar will be blocking any attacks from our survivors down here. Ooh. All right, let's get an attack with Dryleaf. We're going to get him up there, I believe. Thankfully, he's able to attack through Bastion, and we're going to be able to hit some part of the antelope that we can see. 2 dice, 5+. Whoa, 2 very strong hits there. We get the Restless Flank and the Restless Shank, one of which has a wound, the other of which has a reflex. All right. Both of these are fairly brutal. One's going to get an attack, which is going to cause Bastion to move, but that might be good to get us all in range of stuff. The other one, well, that's going to hit us, or hit survivors in the blind spot, which again, will be Bastion here. I think we'll go that Restless Flank first, and to activate that reflex. Hitting on a 4+. The 8, and we make it there. So we discard the hit location and an AI card, but then the monster turns and attacks us. Bang. Colliding with Bastion here, we're just going to check to see if he gets out of the way safely. And a 9, he is a pro. All right, he just tumbles out of the way there, all like fancy and stuff. And the antelope attacks. 3 dice. 3+ thanks to Dryleaf's evasion. Ooh, all right. One of them doesn't hit, but the other 2 do. Let's find out where. 1 to the head and 1 to the body. Now this will just be 1 damage to each location, so I think we can handle that. Let's continue, and we'll be attacking the Restless Shank here. 5+. And we just scrape in there. Wonderful. So, we are going to get this wound thing here, but first we'll discard an AI card because that's how organized we are. What happens with this wound? Roll 1d10 for each survivor currently in the monster's blind spot. Hey, thankfully no one's there. On a result of 3+, they are brutally back-kicked and suffer 3 damage at a random hit location, knockback 5. We don't worry about that. Haha. You know what this means. We can get Freya into the fray now. Let's get her in there, attacking with her prized scrap sword. All right, 2 dice hitting on anything that isn't a 1. 7 to 5, 2 hits. We get the Restless Eye, which has the first strike, meaning we've got to hit that one first, and we get the Restless Rump. All right, let's begin with the Restless Eye. Oh, that's not good. The screaming antelope's massive eyes glisten with human-like fear. If the attacker is insane, and she is, cancel all hits and end their attack, otherwise the attacker suffers 1 brain damage. Well, all hits now get discarded, and that's pretty much the best I've got, except, you know, to make up for that, I'm going to make Freya spend 1 of her survival to attack again with the Surge survival action. Let's get stuck in. 2 dice. Anything but a 1. 2 hits. I liked our odds there. We get the Restless Ear and the Restless Back. Both of these give us bonuses if we're attacking with a club or a shield. Unfortunately for us, we're not. We're just going to be wounding the old-fashioned way. Going the Restless Back. Oh. I can't see what that is. Excuse me. It is a 6. No, it's a 9. Even better. Well, we'll take that. Unfortunately, we don't have those cool abilities like luck, so we'll get rid of that one, discard an AI card, and we'll roll for the next. A 5, and we make that as well. Cruising through the AI cards there. Alright, with that, the antelope attacks. We draw. Oh, focus. Chow down. I hate this card so much. If there are no Arcanthus plants, well, there are Arcanthus plants, so don't worry. Full move the screaming antelope to the closest Arcanthus plant. If the monster ends its movement on or adjacent to an Arcanthus plant, it consumes it. Archive the terrain and perform a heal of 1d5. We could potentially be getting 5 cards back into the deck here. That's ridiculous. All right, so we move him up 1. Oh, I think we're going to go 2. So bang. Bastion, we're going to roll for him in a sec. But Dryleaf is going to get knocked down and he receives 2 damage to the chest. That knocks out all of his remaining armor. Let's quickly roll for Bastion to see if he can get out of the way of this one. A 5, not good enough. So he too gets knocked down. Ooh, stay there. And scores 2 damage to the chest. All right, now he has 0 armor at that location now, so we've got to play a little careful here. Now that the antelope is next to the Arcanthus, we archive that and let's roll, find out how many cards he gets back. Oh, and it's a 2, and that is just 1 card, which is the best we could have hoped for there. We move the card from the bottom of the wound deck onto the bottom of the AI card deck, and then we chuck Chow Down back on top of the deck instead of discarding it. That means he's going to try to heal again. All right, now that it's at the end of the Screaming Antelopes activation, he tramples somebody. We've got Bastion and we've got Dryleaf in the trample zone. Let's find out who gets it. And boom, Bastion again. Oof, this is not the one that we wanted to get here. The antelope is going to be running straight up into the distance. 6, 7. Oh, he is out of there. We, of course, get to roll for Bastion's Collide ability. A 3, which is no good. Where does he get his damage? To the hands. Sorry about the distance there. All right, we move back into the Survivor's activation, and, well, this isn't great for us right now. We'll start our activation with Freya here. And she's going to move up and kind of out of the way. 3, 4, 5. But she's going to use her activation to utilize the Screaming Horns headpiece. All insane survivors gain +1 movement, so Ori, Freya, and Bastion all get to move better. And Dryleaf, well, he gains 1 insanity instead, bringing himself up to 2. Freya's then going to use 1 of her survival to get Bastion back on his feet. Now he's got an additional move, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's going to be in range for his next attack. But he's not going to be able to attack with the Twilight Sword. He won't have the activation points for that. Luckily for him, he's got the Bone Dagger. Bastion fearlessly chases down the Screaming Antelope. Usually he would hit on a 7+ with these, but he's in the blind spot, so 6+. -1 evasion on the Antelope for 5+, and +1 accuracy, 4+. We're actually in with a good shot here to at least hit. Let's see how we go. A 9, a 7, and a 3, so 2 hits. We score the Furry Throat and the Giant Tongue. Now the Furry Throat, that has no reaction, while the Giant Tongue does. Ooh, that does have a -2 to toughness. That's pretty cool. Let's attempt the Furry Throat first. Now the daggers, they only have 1 strength to them, and that sort of offsets their 3 speed. Luckily, Bastion is rocking 3 strength, so we have an alright chance of wounding on a 6+. Oh, white dice rolls a 9. We got to remember that. That's the bone dice, actually. Very nice. So that one, we do make the wound, which is going to get that Chow Down card out of the way, which is all I ever really wanted. Next we'll go the Giant Tongue, and this has a small bonus for us. It is -2 to toughness wounding at this location. So that 6+ becomes a 4+. Let's use that bone dice again. And we score the 6. Very nice. Another wound, another hit location down. All right, the Antelope's coming to the end of his life cycle now. He's only got one card left in his AI deck. Next up, we're going to activate Ori. Now, she's all the way down here, but not for long. We are going to get her. Oh, thanks to Freya's screaming horns, she's got 6 movement and she can reach the bug. So let's get her up there. She utilizes her activation to harvest, scoring an 8. With that 8, we gain 1 random vermin resource. So let's head in there, hoping for the best. Boom. We get a crab spider. We can consume this, archiving it, to gain 3 survival. She'll finish off her activation by spending another point of survival, encouraging Dryleaf to stand. She's down to 1 survival now. Dryleaf standing. Oh, you can't even see. Hang on. So Dryleaf stands, and he's going to use his activation to move up behind the Screaming Antelope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At this point, we're going to spend 1 of his survival to dash. Now, of course, we get to roll to see if we get it back. 6+. No, we lose it forever. But we do get a second activation, and we're going to move right up behind the Screaming Antelope there. 2 dice, 4+. All right, 2 4s, 2 hits. We score the furry tail and the the restless tiny hands. All right, let's go for that furry tail first. No reflexes, wounding on a 5+. 1, oh, no good. We discard that one with no effect, and we go for the restless tiny hands. Better wound here. A 6, and we do get it. The failure doesn't go off, and we lose his last remaining AI card in the draw deck. That means the 2 cards in his discard are all he's got left. All right, it's the Screaming Antelope's activation, and we pick Salam. Closest knockdown survivor, no one's knocked down. Furthest threat in field of view and in range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, poor Ori, she just cops it, doesn't she? All right, over here we go. Now Dryleaf here, he does get collided with, and so we knock him down a space over. He receives 2 damage to the chest. Oh, Dryleaf has his first heavy wound for this encounter. That means, well, he's already knocked down, so he's proper knocked down now. The Antelope slams Ori. 2 speed, 3+. 1 hit, not bad, Ori, not bad. Where does it hit? To the waist location. Now this is just 1 damage, and so she'll take that because she's got plenty of armor there for the moment. That being the end of the AI card, we check the Trample card here, and oh, no, we've checked the Diabolical card here, and you better believe we've got some survivors hanging out there. All right, we've got Bastion and Dryleaf behind, and Ori in the front. Let's find out who is copping this. 2 out of 3. Let's go for it. Ori, whoa. All right, so the Antelope full moves and collides with Ori, knocking her down, and she suffers damage to the chest. That's her second light wound for the day at the body location. That's not too bad though, guys. We begin this activation with Freya. She's going to begin. Does she have any survival left? Yes, she does. She spends 1 of her survival to get Ori back on her feet. She is in a prime location here. She's in range with her bow, and besides that shot that we took with the clawhead arrow, we haven't actually made a wound with her bow. So let's give her a shot now. 2 dice, 6+. 2 hits, fantastic. 2 wounds there. 1 has a reflex, 1 has a failure. Let's go that failure first. Going to be wounding on a 6+. And we get the 9. Fantastic. That's 1 wound in. Let's go for the giant mouth. And a 6. We do make that as well. Ori will end her activation by encouraging Dryleaf back on his feet. And we are going to get him in there to finish off the Screaming Antelope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh. I know we got that, didn't we? Let's get that out of there real quick. He's got reach 2. 2 dice, 5+. 2 hits, fantastic. Oh no. Only 2 cards left in the hit location deck. We get the gnarled horns. You know why this sucks, don't you? Oh, the wailing slide. The Screaming Antelope panics. Its undermouth unleashes an inhuman wail. It bucks wildly and leaps into the air. The attacker is doomed. This is actually okay. Here's why. No, it's not. I got confused. I thought Dryleaf had spear specialization. He does not. All survivors adjacent to the monster suffer 2 brain damage per monster level and knock back 5. Oh my god. No one is adjacent to the monster. Dryleaf attacked with reach. Here we have Ori. She's adjacent but only from the corner. That's not true adjacency. No one gets knocked. Alright. So what happens now? The monster lands on its belly and begins to slide on its teeth, turn the monster directly away from the attacker, and full move forward in a straight line. On collision, non-deaf survivors gain 1 random disorder, an additional to normal collision rules. That's fine. We'll probably move him up and about this way. Directly away would be that way, but we can't go any further than that, so let's head off this way. 2, 3, 4. Oh. All we can do here is kind of chase. Bastion's going to have his activation. And he's just going to head off that way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. I'm going to reshuffle those hit locations. And we'll call the survivor's activation there. The Antelope is going to have his activation now. It's just going to be his basic activation. We pick the target, closest knockdown survivor in range. No target there because no one's knocked down. So he's going to graze. So the monster full moves towards the closest Arcanthus plant, which is this one right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not close enough to consume and not close enough to get any of his health back. So we end his AI card here. We do have to, of course, check this annoying little diabolical card. Bastion is in the way. He's the Bastion and Dryleaf. There they are. Let's find out who he's going to be targeting. And bang. Dryleaf, and that's what we want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ooh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Down there. Bastion gets, Dryleaf gets collided with, receiving 2 damage to the waist. What do you reckon, guys? I think it's time to finish it. All right, let's, just for kicks, we're going to use Ori's Cat Eye Circlet to check out the next 3 hit locations. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. So that would have been Gnarled Horns first and then the Wailing Slide. So let's get the heck rid of that. Put that underneath there, which means we only really want 2 wounds here, guys. So who can attack? We could just throw one of our Founding Stones to get a critical wound here and score another Antelope resource. That way we don't have to worry about what we roll. I think that's going to be it for it, guys. Freya will begin her activation. She's all the way over here. Boo. There she is. And she is going to throw and archive her Founding Stone. Where is that? There it is. She's going to go... and it's going to hit the Screaming Antelope right here. Bang! He gets hit. Let's find out where. We already know where. The Gnarled Horns. And for this, we gain 1 Screaming Antelope resource for the critical wound. Bang! The Antelope is down and out. We gain a Screaming Antelope resource, a Shank Bone, love it, and we can move all of our survivors in to celebrate. Even Dryleaf, who's knocked down. Take it in, guys and gals. There is our team standing triumphant over their level 2 Screaming Antelope. What a great encounter that was. He was all over the place. All right, now, as a reward for defeating him, we gain 2 hunt XP for each of our survivors and 1 weapon proficiency level. That means Dryleaf is going to be having his second age event. Ori, she'll be having her first. Bastion and Freya, they don't fill in any new boxes, but they are now both together the most experienced survivors in our settlement. So hold on to your murder event, because stuff is going to hit the fan at some stage, I'm sure. Maybe a little bit of revenge, who knows? Alrighty, so we'll do Ori first, as she is the youngest of our new survivors. So she's going to be able to pick a weapon proficiency from here on out, and we get to roll 2 dice on the table below. So let's see how she goes. Going for a 12. Gain 1 random fighting art. Alright, let's see what she gets. Bang! Thrill Seeker. What is this one? Whenever you gain survival during the showdown phase, gain 1 additional survival. Awesome! Next, we've got Dryleaf, who's going to be rolling for improved reflexes. We've got 2 dice here. Let's see how we go. A 9 and an 8, that's big numbers. 17, and it's just a fighting art. That's a shame. Should have gone for something a little more middle range here. And he gets Combo Master. Following in Bastion's footsteps here, it looks like. On a perfect hit, make 1 additional attack roll. Still pretty good. Next, we dish out our rewards. Firstly, we've got to check to see if any survivor has 20 plus insanity. If they do, they run off into the darkness and are essentially dead to us. So thankfully, no one's got that much craziness about them. We do gain 6 basic resources. Holla. We get a monster hide, monster organ, more monster hide, questionable resource, monster bone, and love juice. Lovely. On top of that, we gain 7 Screaming Antelope resources. This guy is just paying out. We get a pelt, a shank bone, the Screaming Brain, a spiral horn. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 to go. Muscly gums, gross, a shank bone, and a beast steak. 5, 6, 7. Perfect. Lastly, if our settlement has pottery, when they defeat the level 2 Screaming Antelope, they gain the Barber Surgeon's settlement location. Unfortunately, we don't, so we won't go that far, but that is still a very successful hunt for us. Not only did we score all that amazing stuff, but from a couple of awesome attacks, we gained a few other pieces that we can use. We gained the Crab Spider Vermin, and a ton of other resources from our hunt event as well. Wow. Vegas is paying out. All right, we are done here. Let's take our survivors home, see what settlement events we've got in store for us today. All right, here we are in the settlement phase. We begin setting up. So firstly, our survivors return. We heal them all up back to full health, but we do not remove their gear, of course. We gain endeavors. That is 4 endeavors for our 4 returning survivors. Next, we update the timeline, and now we're in Lantern Year 8. No major story events here, so we've just got to go ahead and draw our settlement event. And we draw Plague. Oh, Sickness sweeps through the settlement. Survivors are stricken without warning, made too weak to even care for themselves. Select 4 survivors with at least 1 hunt XP. They are infected and each rolls 1d10. Alright, let's throw in 2 of our survivors who have been recently granting hunt XP through the shared knowledge event. Survivors aptly named 4 and 5. Yeah, nice. They've both got 1 hunt XP apiece. Certainly aren't going to be picking any of our big names, but I'm going to have to throw Ori into the mix, which I'm a little sad about. And just for kicks, I think we're going to have to throw in Lucky too. All right, well, let's roll for survivor number 4 first. She gets a 5. What do we got? Your body tries to fight the infection. Unless you receive treatment, see below, you will die at the end of the settlement phase. Oh my God. So we're going to have to spend an endeavor down there to not lose survivor number 4. Yikes. All right, let's try number 5. Same deal. That's 2 endeavors. Dang. Come on, Ori. A 5, not good enough. Oh, man. And lastly, Lucky. Here we go. A 6. Oh, we're going to have to spend 4 of our endeavors just to keep these guys alive, possibly, unless we roll really well for our treatment. Oh, that's brutal. All right, let's put them aside. Oh, all right. That's the update timeline. We update the death count. No one's dead yet, but they're pretty close. Here on out, we're going to be developing our settlement, and we got a ton of resources in that last encounter with the screaming antelope. So we get to go shopping, yeah! All right, just a few things. So the big question is, which armor are we gonna go for? And wouldn't you know, we have enough to complete the rest of the screaming armor set. To build the braces, we hand in 1 pelt and 1 hide that I missed from the last ep. It was pointed out that one of the resources we cashed in was actually worth 2 hide, not 1, so thanks for the good eyes there. We'll use it here. Next up, we've got the screaming coat, which costs 1 pelt and 1 bone. Then the screaming skirt, 1 pelt, and finally the screaming leg warmers, 1 pelt and 1 hide. With that, we gain the 4 remaining pieces to this amazing armor, which grant us the ability to do some cool stuff, namely the slam ability, which I hope to show off at some stage. We may spend a movement to full move in a straight line, and if we move 4+ spaces and stop adjacent to a monster, it gets knocked back 1 and -1 toughness, till the end of the round at least. The skirt gives us a little bit of extra protection for waist severe injuries, allowing us to add +1 to severe injuries at that location. The leg warmers, on arrival, our feet hurt and we gain +3 insanity. I love that. Finally, the screaming braces. On arrival, if possible, add an Arcanthus terrain card to the showdown. When you activate terrain, you may add +2 to your roll result. Pretty solid. Now that's great on its own, but if we have someone wearing the entire set of armor, they gain +2 armor to all hit locations, which is huge for a set like that. We also gain the skewer ability. After you slam, spend your activation to move 1 space and activate a melee weapon with +2 strength. If you wound with a spear, apply the wound roll result to the next selected hit location this attack. Now we have the wonderful King's Spear in our armory, and so I can think of a perfect combination with this armor, right? All right, that's the screaming armor sorted. So we got a ton of organs from that encounter, so I thought we'd spend maybe a couple of those today. We were going to save a fair bit, but I thought we'd get the Monster Tooth Necklace, which grants 1 strength. This costs us 1 bone and 1 scrap that we have stored at the settlement. We're also going to gain a lucky charm, which we can grab with an organ. I'm pretty sure we've got use for this, so I thought we'd get it on the off chance that we can maybe throw it into someone's grid. Now, lastly, I was going to try and buy back some of our stone noses, but all of our endeavors are kind of counted for at the moment. Now, Dryleaf's been doing amazingly well with the spear, and I think we need to boost his strength up just a bit. So we best make use of our sword Beetle, and hopefully we can gain him that +1 strength. Now, we've not been rolling too well at the moment, so let's hope we can change all that with the red dice. And we get it. The Lantern 10 means we gain +1 permanent strength. So we archive that. All right, let's cure some sick people. I kinda want to keep 2 of these endeavors, mainly so we can use the shrine, and also so we can innovate. So let's hope we can get a decent high roll on our treatment. Let's start off by rolling for Aura, who gets a 6, which means we do cure her. That's fantastic. Next up, we have Lucky. He's cured. All right, you better come in handy one day. Oh, so close. All right. I really wanted to innovate. All right. Let's spend it. Let's save another survivor. Oh, yay. All right, so we rolled the 9, cures everybody. Unfortunately, that was our last roll and our last endeavor, so that don't make too much of a difference, but everyone is cured and we can get rid of this infernal event until we probably pull it again. Ugh. All right, not much else to be done here. We've developed. It's time to prepare our departing survivors. No shrine this time. Man, that's annoying. All right. Let's head off. Let's prepare our survivors. Who knows where we're going to go next time? I'm thinking the Screaming Antelope again. We got way too many resources this encounter. And we still kind of need that leather armor. It's either that or the White Lion again. And quite honestly, I wouldn't mind some of the White Lion weapons. Or we could go the Phoenix. Ooh. All right, let me know what you want to do in the comments if you feel strongly in any particular way. But yeah, other than that, we're done. Sweet. Pretty decent hunt in there. I'm still kind of annoyed about the whole, everyone getting poisoned and sick and all that sort of stuff. I had plans for those endeavors. I had everything set up, ready to go. Before I pulled the event, I was like, yeah, I'm going to buy all this cool stuff. It'll be awesome. Bang, event. Oh, my life is ruined. But we got through. We didn't lose any survivors, thank goodness. So I guess we get to push on through. We're going forward for another hunt event. I'm still thinking we're doing level 2 hunt events, although I have noticed our survivors age quite rapidly with the level 2 hunt events here. So got to keep an eye on that. I don't really want to lose out any of our main players just yet. So yeah, I'm thinking Screaming Antelope again or White Lion. Probably ready for that now that we've got some really decent armor. That Screaming armor is going to be incredible. We're going to combine that with the Antelope mask, and oh my god, it is a good combo there. You'll see that in the gear setup for the next one. That's probably all I got for you today. It was a pretty successful hunt, so I'm stoked that we get to continue through without too much more heartbreak. If you've got any questions or anything like that, chuck them down in the comments below. As always, guys, I really appreciate you sticking through here till the very end. If you've enjoyed the video as much as I've loved putting it together, make sure you like and subscribe and all that stuff. It makes life amazing for me when you do. Anyway, all that being said, we are about done. So as always, guys, my name's Michael. This is Bits of Board. We'll catch you next time.